Now, I've seen some dreadful best comic book movies ever, like, lists. This might be the worst comic book movies list I've ever seen. Like, truly baffling. Like, no Jonah Hex, no Madam Web, not even like a classic like Daredevil, even though Daredevil actually isn't that bad anymore. No Venom, no Morbius. Like, what is this? Like, I'm going to I'm going to like say less about these three, because obviously these three have absolutely had their criticism since they've been released. But to include Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 2, I genuinely think you have to be insane to think that Guardians of the Galaxy 2 is a bad film. I genuinely believe that. You don't have to think it's the best comic book movie ever made, even though I think it's in the conversation. But to say it's a bad one, I mean, it's just insane. And for me, it's telling of yourself, of the quality of film that you watched, that you think that film is bad. Like, spellbinding. I can't even hate on Man of Steel anymore. I feel it gets far more hate than it actually needs to. I don't think it's a great film by any metric, but it's still a decent superhero film, a decent Superman film. I just know that we could get better. I like Henry Cavill, I like what Zack Snyder was trying to do. I just don't think it fully... We fully got there. And The Dark Knight Rises gets criminally hated on. And I don't see it. Like, it's a Chris Nolan Dark Knight film. Like, it's still a great film. It's just not as good as The Dark Knight. That's the only issue I have with the movie. And The Amazing Spider-Man 2, I mean, I've turned around on the film, and I genuinely do think it's a good film. Yeah, it's messy as hell, but at least it has a little bit more style and substance than the majority of what's going on in the MCU at the moment. This is a truly insane list. So I'm going to go through my worst comic book movies ever. Up first, I mean, you've got this... It's such a bad movie. Considering the quality that surrounds it, it's just a really bad movie. It makes Last Stand look like Logan. I mean, truly horrible film. This one still kind of sticks with me a little bit. I mean, maybe time will be a little bit kinder to this movie, considering the movies that we've had now. But it's still like, you know, bog standard, bad comic book movie. I mean, just even looking at that costume, like, what is going on with that headpiece? I've genuinely, I don't even know how I've never noticed that before. It looks dreadful. It looks like AI made that. It's funny that this is the most recent inclusion I have on this list, considering the amount of movies that are coming out at the moment that are bad and are part of the superhero genre. I mean, I haven't even seen Madam Web. I don't even want to. But boy, Hellboy really was, for me, the bottom of the barrel when it came out. Like, at least with Venom, I could laugh at Venom. I can't even laugh at Hellboy. Like, it's just boring, and I feel so bad for David Harbour. He really did deserve a better film than this. I think I do have to cap it off with, for me, genuinely arguably the worst superhero movie ever made. And again, this is whilst understanding there is some quality here, like Harley Quinn, Will Smith's Deadshot, Jai Courtney's Boomerang. And I mean, it does have some semblance of visual flair, but everything else, like the editing, is just awful. The pacing of this story is just nonsensical. The flashbacks are dumb. And it's such a nasty film. Like, it's a nasty film to watch. And just everybody's... no one's having a good time while this film is playing. Bad. Worse than any of the ones that guy picked, like any of them, bad.